Now, jumping into the tattooing, was that hard for you? Because, you know, a lot of people, they don't got that confidence. Like, they're good at drawing, and then when they think about tattooing, it's like, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was self-taught, so I started on my own. I had a buddy just throw the machine on me, be like, here, you can draw so you can tattoo. And I was like, what? I was like, you know, I didn't know how to go about that, but, you know, I started doing that. It did, for a while when I started, it was honestly just to make rent or make money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I felt like I still had a steady hand to kind of do tattooing or have the craft to do and just learn a little bit. But after a while, it did kind of come easy because, I mean, I'm just an artist. I would say I'm an artist that's just like the hand movement of the machine and the pencil, and they just kind of like knowing, like, or try to master the skin. I mean, it's hard to master the skin, but like trying to get to know how to use the skin instead of paper, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no
while I'm tattooing. But it did after a while. I just felt like it kind of came naturally just because I didn't do any apprentice.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the shop. I didn't, you know, do for like 2 to 3 years, or how they say that you have to be apprenticing for this long, you know, and I got paid and stuff. So, but yeah, I think I did pretty good without going to the shop and just, you know, kind of doing what I'm doing now. So,
no doubt. I know one of my family members, my cousins for instance, he wanted to do tattooing, and he was practice on his leg. Was that something that you did? Because
I did it. No, yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of people do that. I didn't do anything on my legs. I did do a couple of them here. I did this one when I started out. I was bored. I was watching. I think I was watching some, like, you know, some UFC back then, and I saw fighters with, like, you know, these tattoos right on their biceps. I thought it was cool. Yeah. So I went ahead and did it, but it's not the best idea. But, you know, back then it's just like, all right, you know, I'm not tattooing anymore right now. Let me just try it out. But yeah, man, a lot of people do that. A lot of people start tattooing themselves. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. I mean, you know, you might do something you might, you know, you're gonna regret or trying to cover later.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely blends in.
Yeah.
So do you remember the first person? I'm not gonna say like you gotta mention his name, but do you remember what it was your mind was going through when you were first tattooing somebody? Yeah,
well, the first person was actually my buddy. His name was Eric Agarondo from San Diego. He's the one that put the machine in my hand or bought me the equipment. He's the first guy that I actually did a tattoo on, and it was his wife's initials on his finger. So it was something small, something that I was like, you know, I could do it. You know, it's not a big deal.
So have you ever tried doing any color or?
Yeah, I started off doing like traditional style work, like kind of just color, you know, just like more of the Sailor Jerry stuff. Like it's because it was easier, because it's a lot of line work, and then like you just put color in it. That's how I just kind of saw it.
What is it that you like to work on when you do tattoos, and what kind of environment do you like to have while you're tattooing?
I like doing like realism, anything black and gray. I do a lot of traditional. I'm doing a lot of portrait work, religious work. So that's the type of stuff that I do. Anything that I'm really into that's gonna, you know, kind of get me motivated or really get me into the piece. And also the environment, you know, I just like, you know, just having it calm. You know, I have my own studio, I have my own like one man shop studio. I like to have it quiet, kind of with some music, of course, but just like not, you know, like no interruptions and stuff. So that's what kind of gets me more into my work, you know. Is there a certain
part on the body that you like to tattoo?
Definitely just the arms, the legs, anywhere where it's like big. I mean, I do a lot of big work. I would say one of my favorite ones is like the forearms to do my tattoos. Yeah. Just because people, you know, show it off, or, you know, people can see it right off the bat, and it just catches people's attention. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the best advertisement because, you know, a lot of short sleeve and all that stuff.
So like when I saw your tattoo, I was like, whoa, you know, it just sees you right away. You got a shirt on and everything. But it just pops, you know what I mean? It's just something that people see right away. Yeah.
I got some light-skinned friends, some dark-skinned friends, and you know, we be talking a lot of shit to each other. Like, man, I don't know how you got that tattoo, or how you was able to see a tattoo on you. You know what I mean? So, do you find, or have you come across any like black people, and was it difficult to do tattoos on them?
It's difficult, man, because I started like probably like a few years ago. I started getting hit up by a lot of football players, like Niner players at the time. I'm a big Niner fan, so, you know, they hit me up, and I was like, oh,
I gotta go.
You gotta go. And it was over.
It's our
Raider fan. I knew it, right? Yeah. Got your colors in here.
Oh, exactly.
So, but yeah, that was very tough because they see my work, and they're like, hey, I heard, you know, you're in Santa Cruz. We're close by, you know, kind of Santa Clara or Oakland. I'd like to get some work from you, you know. And their skin was very dark but rough, but as well because they practice football. They're out there like, you know, hitting each other. They're not taking care of their tattoos or, you know. So it was tough, and I had to do some really tough areas on their legs where like they're just big dudes, veiny legs, you know, like just strong, muscular dudes. And I was like, oh, dude, it's kind of tough, you know, like just the type of skin they had, you know, like or just anything like that. But like they would come in and they'll be like, I want this done on me, and it would be like one of my black and gray on like a white person, you know. You have to switch it up. It still comes out nice, but it's like when I get a little bit like a darker skin, I have to like kind of let their skin play a little bit more of the light on it, so it's not too much shading. I mean, there's a little bit of shading, but just kind of have to make it work where, you know, the lighter part is their skin tone, and it just makes it work, and it still looks great. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I've seen a lot of your work, and it looks real good, like no matter what the color is, you know?
Yeah.
But when you come across people like that, the ball players and stuff like that, do you let them know ahead of time, like, hey, this piece is going to take this long, so, like, if you could clear your schedule, like...
No, I mean, it's a full, like, when they hit me up, it's a full day. We make sure it's on the weekend, maybe. I don't usually, like, work on the weekends, not all the time. And I'm always down to, like, finish the work because it's hard for them to get back in the chair right away. So I would have to finish it that same day. Because there'll be like times where like, oh, you know, I got one day to get tattooed, then I'm gonna fly out to a game, you know, on the East Coast or something. I was like, oh shoot. So we definitely have to make it, you know, make sure that, you know, like I said, like, and then they go the next day and play with a fresh tattoo, and then then I see it next time they come back and get tattooed, it's all beat up, and I was like, oh man, I was like, you know, it happened, you know, it's gonna happen.
So who are a couple ball players that you've tattooed, and what was that like? Did you feel like excitement? Do you feel like, damn, I'm actually tattooing somebody that I like, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's, like I said, I'm a big area, you know, sports fan. You know, I like anybody from the Warriors, you know, Niners, and Giants and stuff like that. But I got a lot more work from the Niner players, and I'll start off with Nick Moody. He was a linebacker, I think, probably a few years back for the Niners. And he's from Philly, so he's the one that kind of hit me up and kind of started it off. And he's like, man, I got my boys. They want to get, I'm gonna get you some more players, you know. And I was like, all right. And then who else did he get? Willis. He got Willis. He was actually getting tattooed when when Willis hit him up on the phone. Patrick Willis. So Willis was on the phone, like, you know, on
the FaceTime.
The FaceTime. Sorry, the FaceTime. And Willis, his FaceTime is showing him what he was getting done. And then I had a little conversation with him. He said he wanted to get some work when he got back in town. I think this is the time when they were off season. But now I'm like tattooing some Warrior players. Juan Toscano.
95 or
95. So he's from Oakland. He's an Oakland. You know, he's a hometown Oakland guy. Now he's playing for the Warriors. So I tattooed him probably like a few months ago.
Okay.
So then as well with him, he said he had other people want to get some work done, but you know, season starts and hopefully we'll get that soon. But yeah, he's hella cool, man, and a big Warrior fan, and he came to me. I already had him in the chair like probably 3 times. He brought his family along as well. I tattooed his girlfriend, his, you know, the girlfriend's mom, everybody, like the family. So he's bringing me a lot of, you know, people, and then we're all kind of like turning into like a family, you know what I mean? Like just his friends were really cool. And so once season's over, he's been texting me lately like, hey man, I gotta get back in the chair. And I'm like, man, you better hit up Steph. I know Steph has a couple of them, small ones, but yeah, we just kind of laughed about that. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get, you know, whoever wants to get tatted, and I'll get you some people. I was like, cool, man.
Tattooing everybody, the whole family, the baby, the dog, everything.
Everybody, the dog, everybody, man.
That's right. So the first ball player, he kind of trickled down and brought more ball players into your...
So it was like, you know, I would just be like, the first ball player hit me up, be like, man, you know, just let me just, I'll hook you up, you hook me up, like just give me like a ticket to a game. So that's what I did with Moody. So I didn't charge him. I'm like, you know, just I'll hook you up. You just hook me up with some tickets, or you know, just something like that. Like I just want to watch a game, just to even trade, you know. But they still end up paying, which is cool. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that a lot. That just shows me, you know, what kind of, you know, people they are. Because I know a lot of hearing stories of other like celebrities or people getting tattooed. They take advantage of the artists, like, oh, I want to get this free and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's dope. That's dope to build a relationship with people that you actually watch on TV that you actually like.
Yeah, and it's just like building up my clientele with them. So yeah, like I said, like I'll hook you up if you give me 2 more players. Like just go in the locker room and just spread my name out there. You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's how it just kind of started.
So not to steer too much away from the ball players.
Yeah.
But I know you do, or I've seen a lot of, you know, plaques that you have of conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the whole convention scenery like? Like, what's the whole point of it?
So the whole point of it, the conventions are just like, they have them in every city, like all over the world. It's just to kind of get out there, like get your work out there, go do a convention in a different city, meet new people, meet new artists. It's just to kind of get out there and just push your work out further than you can, like in your own little town. It's always fun to go see other cities, you know, just traveling. You know, tattooing's gave me like a crazy life where I could just get up, pack up, and go work at a convention like in Europe or go somewhere and make money while I travel and work, you know what I mean? So, and experience, you know, new cultures and stuff. But yeah, the convention's always been really fun. Everybody gets along. People get together, artists get together. They kind of brainstorm, you know, they kind of like show each other, like, you know, like little techniques if they want to share some stuff. It's definitely networking. That's what it is. So, and it's always cool to do it while you're traveling, you know, all over the map. But it's fun to go see people's work in person. Like some of my favorite artists, I would like, you know, I've seen it on either on Instagram or on social media. But when I go to the shows, I meet them. And I see their work in person, and it's just mind blowing. It's like, wow, like it's really that good. Yeah, now, it's fun.
Do you treat them as like a celebrity, or do you treat like a regular person?
At first, it's funny. At first, I did because when I first started my first year tattooing, one of my first conventions was in San Francisco at the Cow Palace, and so meeting these guys the first time in San Francisco, I was like kind of you know, a little you know, like a celebrity kind of shock, like, you know, like, whoa, like there's that dude and he's working, I'm watching him. And then, but so a lot of them turn out to be kind of assholes. So it's like, to me, it kind of changed my perspective. Like, you can't just like, you know, just by looking at them, see, you know, you can't think that's who they are all the time. But I still admire their work. It's not like I don't hate their work. Like, he might be not a good person.
No doubt.
But yeah, but other guys, yeah. And then when I see other people that I really admire, like really look up to, and they're hella cool, man, that just makes it the best because, you know, we become friends, and like every other show we go to, we kind of, you know, hook up again.
Yeah. Have you ever beat or, I don't know, placed on top of any artists that you looked up to?
Yeah, I mean, I have before. There's a lot of artists that I really admire. I mean, and I've seen the work they did too, and I knew what I was going up against, and I was like, wow, you know, they're gonna take it. But I have, man. It's crazy. Like, I couldn't believe it, you know. Yeah. When they were doing the convention, they're doing the judging. I'd be like, you know, on my booth, not paying attention. Then I'll have a buddy come over here, you know, to the booth with a first place. And I was like,
popping bottles and
everything. You know, like, here you want to one for what? What is that win for? You know. But yeah, man, it's always tough going up. You know, always trying to do the competition.
Yeah. It's
fun, you know. It just. I mainly do the competitions not just for the plaques, but I like to like show my work. Like, I want people to see my work. And what happened is at the end of the you know, once it was done, then people would come to my booth and be like, hey, you get this? I'd be like, yeah, and here's my card. And then that's how you get more of your clientele.
Yeah, yes. Everything you do ain't for everybody. It's for somebody out there. So with that being said, how do you pick what conventions you go to, or do you get invited to them?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, I just did all the ones here. Same ones like for 2-3 years straight. Went to like, you know, all the same shows every year, and after that, it just kind of gets tired.
You gotta build the confidence.
Yeah, build the confidence. Of course, I mean, it's cool. They're fun. They're close by. All your homies and friends around. But after a while, you know, you wanna. Once I first did my first European, you know, like shows, I was like, it just opened up my mind. Like, man, like I could do this everywhere else. Like, wow, I'm here in Italy. Like, whoa, I can work here. And then next year, I want to go to Germany. You know what I mean? Like. It just opens up that whole world where you're like, I could do this anywhere. Yeah. And I don't have to stick around my area in California.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then to me it was just like showing my work out there. Once I started doing that, people started following me, and then like they kept saying, come back next year. I just started making friends out there, and just now, you know, I have so many friends and connected out there in Europe where I could go out there anytime I want to work. You know what I mean?
It basically expands your horizons and your creativity. Have you ever won any of those conventions in Europe?
I did one time, and it was the only time I think I entered something was in England. It was like a very legendary show. It was running for like 30-40 years. Yeah. And so when I went to the show, my buddy that I used to tattoo with, I did this whole dome piece, like tattoo his whole head. Like really dope, and it was just finished up, like we probably finished 2 months before that. Yeah. And it was never being intended to go show it off there, but like since we're like they had a category for black and gray, you know, realism. We just entered it and we took first place, man.
So this is a 2-for-1 question, basically. How do you stay creative, and have you ever hit a block where your creativity is just like not expanding, and you're just like, what the hell's going on?
So to stay creative, it's just like I said, I gotta be into something. You know, I gotta keep doing the style that's gonna, you know, get me noticed, or people are gonna be like, that's the style, that's his style, I like it, and I want that style. That gives me the freedom to do anything on my tattoo, and that's what's gonna keep me creative and just wanting to keep doing more of it. I mean, when I'm tattooing, it's funny, like a lot of artists wear like earphones and they have music playing, but to me when I tattoo, like it's crazy. Like I'm either quiet or I'll talk to my client, but most of the time I'm just, you know, I have things going in my head, you know, like for hours I'm thinking about a lot of stuff. Sometimes I could get down or not really into it if it's just like, you know, like just personal problems.
Do you plan on retiring, or how does that work being a tattoo artist?
Well, there's no retirement plan for tattoo artists. But I mean, you can retire. It's not saying you can never retire, but you know, we're all independent artists, man. We get to do whatever we want, man. We're definitely like rock star kind of lifestyle, everybody says. And you know, but just taking care of your money, taking care of what you got to do, and just also just, you know, doing adult shit. You know, you gotta make sure that you're gonna have money later and not spend it. There's a lot of artists just going buck wilds and partying and stuff. I mean, I see a lot of legendary artists that are still working right now. They're like in their 60s, and they're like even more popular just because they've been going on for so long. And when I go to conventions, they have like, they're doing small tattoos this big for like $300, and people are gonna get it just because of who you are, because you're a legend, and you're like, you know, like one of these old school timers, and hopefully I'll get to that point.
You feel like you're supposed to be where you're at in life right now?
Yeah. For these last like 9 years, I've been kind of working or got into tattooing in the industry. It every year's felt that way. I've never been like, oh, you know, like next year I'm gonna do this, next year I'm gonna do that. Like, it's always been like, you know, another year, and I'm still doing what I love to do.
Do you plan on opening up your own tattoo shop?
So no, definitely. I think that's everybody's dream as an artist. That's on everybody's mind. Excuse me. To like open something up, you know, kind of start like a dynasty, kind of, you know, or start something where, you know, people are gonna probably want to join you. But yeah, in the back of my mind is, you know, I want to have my own shop later, like a bigger shop where I could gather, you know, artists and try to make it to like one of the best art tattoo shops, you know, in this area or around the world. You know, there's a lot of artists that have shops all over the world. Like they have, like this guy Jose Lopez, like I follow. He's like a really dope, like amazing artist. Been tattooed since like 17. You know, he's been years into it. He has shops in London, I think, and he has like 3 in LA, I think, and he has some, I think maybe Japan or somewhere in Asia. You know what I mean? He has them all over the map, and I'm like, dude, how does he do that? Like, how the fuck? And then I look at his Instagram page, and he's like, he's never in the shop. He's traveling and tattooing out of these crazy hotels in Bangkok. He's like, he's like on these crazy, he's like tattooing these big time celebrities, and I was like, okay, that'd be cool to get to that level where, you know what I mean? And he has all these artists, amazing artists. Yeah, exactly. Dude, this guy's already like, I think he's made, you know, and he still paints at the same time. And he's in a wheelchair. That's crazy. That's something that you're like, wow, like this guy, it's inspiring, man. It's inspiring.
So before we wrap this up, what's some advice that you could give them to, you know, take with them for like the artists who haven't even started tattooing and they're thinking about it, or the tattoo artist who's barely coming up and building their portfolio?
Just get your, you know, get your minds and goals set of exactly what you want to be, what you want to do when you tattoo, or where you want to be at. Find some artists online, you know, that you like their style, follow them and see what they do, how they do it. Because there's a lot of artists out there that do, you know, interviews. They have videos on YouTube, tons of videos, or how to do this, how to tattoo, how to do that. And I know there's a lot of trial and error. I did that. I started on my own, self-taught, and it was difficult. It took me probably 2 years to kind of know what I was doing. So I would say probably do an apprentice. I would say I did it the wrong way, but still, you know, there's people that done it so many different ways and end up in the same place. This is what you want. You know, surround yourself with artists that you want to be like or do something, you know, like in that style, and just like put your whole, you know, energy into it.
Yeah, well, man, I appreciate you having us out here in your shop. I appreciate you making the time for us to come through and do this interview with you. I know if you guys don't know who Lalo Pena is, Actually, go ahead and let them know where they can find you.
So you can find me in Santa Cruz, California. I have a shop here in Seabright. My Instagram is Seabright Pena. Also Facebook, it's Lalo Pena. I don't have a website currently, but I mean it's mostly word of mouth and just like yeah, man, it's a private little studio, so come get tatted sometime. Hopefully we get together. I know times are tough and it's busy, but I'll definitely get everybody in as soon as I can. Yeah.
So basically, this whole interview, guys, if you're an upcoming artist and you haven't tattooed and you plan on it, just jump in head first and fuck someone's life up and their ink up, all that bullshit. No, I'm just talking shit. I'm just playing. But hey, I appreciate all you guys who are tapping into these videos and these interviews. I hope you guys enjoy them. It's just another episode of Urban Moguls with B, right here with Ink by Pena, Lalo Pena, Santa Cruz, California, Watsonville, California. Shout out to the 831. We out.